Welcome back to our journey to the chakras. If you're new here, I'm Sarah and I'll be guiding us through exploring our heart chakra, Anahata, located at the center of the spine at heart level and symbolized by the color green. Our heart chakra embodies our ability to love and be loved. As this is the fourth of our 7 chakras, Anahata acts as a center point between our lower and upper chakras, providing us the balance and connection to feel nourished from the inside out. We're starting today's practice sitting in Sukhasana, crossing at the ankles, dropping the knees heavy. We're going to rest our right hand into our heart center and bring our left hand to rest on top. Begin to close your eyes, draw your awareness inwards, and begin to focus on your breath. We'll begin to visualize a bright green light at the center of your heart. Imagining it as a globe within your heart center. And begin to notice your breath, drawing your breath to your heart center. And on an inhale, you notice that globe as it grows, as it presses into your hands. And on an exhale, you feel it draw back into your body. Inhale. And exhale. Notice how this feels for you. Notice what you notice. And we'll gently release, gently blinking open the eyes, allow your breath to return to normal. We're going to begin to sweep our arms up and overhead, bring your palms to touch, looking up towards the sky. Hands are in prayer as we lengthen through the sides of the body. And we'll release by bringing your hands into cactus, bending at the elbows, palms face forward, open through the chest as you create a small back bend. And then exhale, begin to round as you drop the gaze, palms and elbows touch, riding through the spine. Inhale, draw the hands back up to prayer, lift and lengthen through the sides of the body. Exhale, bending into cactus, keeping that slight back bend. And rounding forward, drop the gaze. Inhale, reach the arms up, look up towards the sky. Exhale, bend at the elbows, looking up. Creating more space through the chest. As we begin to round, we draw our palms to touch, bring our elbows together. Inhale once again, trying to keep this movement quite fluid-like, so we're not straining our body into the motion. And we'll release our arms down. Bring your hands behind your lower back, interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders down away from the ears. As you draw your knuckles away from your body as much as you can, we're going to open through the chest forward and lift the gaze, look up once again towards the sky. Option here to close your eyes and bring your awareness back into your heart center. And we'll release, lovely. From here, we'll make our way over to hands and knees, over to our tabletop. We're going to keep our toes tucked under, so we're getting a full body awakening. Shoulders are in line over wrists, and we'll drop our belly, lift our heart and gaze forward, coming into cow pose. On an exhale, drop your gaze around your spine. And from here, we're going to begin to sit our hips back towards our heels, keeping our spine rounded. Inhale, look forward, begin to arch through the spine as you come back into cow. Bring your hips back away from the heels. Exhale, round into cat. Send the hips back towards the heels. Inhale, open forward. look forward, back into cow. Begin to move with your own breath. Sometimes when our heart chakra is blocked, we feel moments where we struggle to trust in ourselves or in each other. So allow yourself to find trust in the movement by flowing with your own breath. And we'll release. Bring your left hand into the center of the mat. We're going to sweep our right arm up and overhead. Bring your right hand to rest to the inside of your left thigh. If it doesn't quite make it there, you can just rest it towards your lower back. We're going to try and bring our right shoulder as much as we can to face up towards the sky and see if your gaze can follow as we open to our heart space, creating more space for the breath to flow. Begin to look back towards the center of the mat while we sweep our left arm out long on the mat. We drop our forehead down towards the mat and come up onto the left fingertips. So we should feel a really deep opening right through the left fingertips, right down towards the left toes. Opening into the armpit, into the hips. Such a wonderful experience for the whole body. And gently bring your left hand back towards the side of your face to press yourself back up. Sweep the right arm back up and overhead, coming back to center. And from here, we'll readjust and swap sides. Sweep the left arm up and overhead, bringing it to hug over towards the right hip. Left shoulder points up towards the sky, gaze follows. Stay with your breath. Notice what you notice the sensations, trust in those sensations. Bring the gaze to look back towards the hand. Sweep the right hand long on the mat. Drop the forehead down towards the mat, coming high up onto the fingertips, creating that wonderful opening all through the right side of the body this time. Right from the fingers to the toes. Check in with the sensations, not just inside your body. Check in with your mind, with your emotions, with your feelings. Notice what you notice. And lovely, we'll release, bring the right hand back up, sweep the left arm back up and overhead, and we'll release the left hand back down. We're going to walk the hands forward as we make our way into our first downward facing dog. Keep the toes tucked under. We're going to hover the knees away from the mat as we press our hips high, coming up to downward facing dog. You can straighten and bend into opposite knee, waking up through the backs of the legs and the hips. You could maybe shake the head, yes and no, just releasing any tension that may be there. We'll find stillness in our down dog, just for a moment. Begin to look up towards your hands as we hover our shoulders over our wrist, drop down onto the knees, and gently lower our body down towards the mat and tuck the toes. Keeping your elbows squeezing in towards each other, pointing up towards the sky. Roll the shoulders away from the ears as we gently come up into cobra. So we very softly lift our chin and our chest away from the mat. Only to where you feel you can without straining your neck. Keeping the gaze looking down towards the mat. Remember to breathe. Keeping your shoulders rolling down away from the ears. And we'll gently release. We're going to walk our fingers out as wide as our elbows, coming up onto your fingertips as if you're trying to claw into the mat. On an exhale, we're going to begin to lift our chin and chest away from the mat once again. Maybe you can lift a little bit higher. Trying to open our heart space to the front of the room, opening up to whatever's ahead of us, knowing that we can do it, we can open ourselves up. And gently release the head back down towards the mat. From here, we're going to bring our hands back behind our lower back, interlace our fingers, roll your shoulder blades back, and begin to see if you can lift your chin and chest once again by using the strength of your arms. Only go to where you feel you can. If you can't lift at all away from the mat, it's completely fine. Trust in yourself. Trust in your ability. And gently release. We're going to bring our elbows now in line under the shoulders as we plant our hands onto the mat, coming into Sphinx Pose. This might feel a little bit tight for your lower back, so you always have the option to walk the feet a little bit wider. That will just release some tension. Roll your shoulder blades back, down, away from the ears, keeping a nice active Sphinx pose. We draw our heart space through our shoulders, opening up the possibility of love, possibility of compassion, and serenity and unity. All things we may lack when our heart chakra is blocked. Stay with your breath. Connect with the sensations. And we'll gently release our forehead back towards the mat. Extend the arms down long, maybe wiggle the hips left and right, just to let go and release any tension. Bring your hands back towards the side of the body. And from here, we're going to press ourselves up back through tabletop. We'll bring our big toes to touch, knees as wide as the mat, and we'll come into a counter pose, into child's pose. Allow yourself to completely release and melt in your child's pose. A lot of the time when our heart chakra, Anahata, is blocked, a really good place to start is by finding love for ourselves. And then we can open up to love from others and to give others. Finding that connection with yourself is so important. Begin to look towards your hands as we gently float back up through tabletop. From here, we'll bring our right foot to step in between both hands, keeping our left leg long away from us. Looking forward, open through the chest, we're going to sweep our arms up and overhead, coming up into a low lunge. We're going to circle our hands back around, interlace our fingers, draw our shoulders away from our ears, look up towards the sky. Very deep heart opener. Also very deep hip opener. So if you need to keep the hands planted on the mat, please do. You can drop the head back, creating even more space through the front of the body. Sending the breath back down through the center of the chest. Inhale. Exhale, we'll gently release, sweep the arms back up and overhead. Going to take a twist. We're going to bring our right hand to rest towards the back leg. Bring your left hand to rest towards your heart center. So your thumb is resting towards your chest bone. Begin to twist and look over the right shoulder. So your left hand is resting in prayer. Your right hand is dropping back towards the back leg, taking a very deep twist if you can. Twist from the belly. Drop your shoulders away from the ears. Open through the heart space. Begin to look forward. We'll release, sweep the arms up and overhead. Plant the hands down onto the mat. We're going to shift our hips back. We're going to step our right leg towards the left. And from here, maybe you'll need to walk further up in your mat so you've loads of space behind you. We're going to open up our feet as wide as our hips so we can sit in between them, keeping your knees together. Open through the chest, plant your hands onto your feet. You may need to stay here, this may be far enough for you. Option to come down onto the elbows, drop the head back. Option to stay here if this feels enough. If you want to take this pose even deeper, you can drop down onto the crown of the head, tuck the chin in, and then release the full body down. So you should feel a slight arch of the lower back, so the lower spine is peeling away from the mat. Chest is open, pressing up towards the sky. And for the full variation of the pose, you can bring the arms up and overhead, taking hold of opposite elbow. So wherever you are in this pose, just breathe. Visualizing that bright green light at the center of your chest, the center of your heart space once again. Feeling it grow and begin to wash over your body. Feeling that love and compassion expand and grow. And we'll gently blink our eyes open, and wherever you are, we'll come out of our pose the same way we came in. So if you're fully down on the mat, bring your hands back towards your feet, walk up to your elbows first, and then coming back up to sitting, and that's where we'll all meet. And then when you're ready, make your way over to tabletop, back to hands and knees. Now we'll take our low lunge on the left side. Step your left leg in between your hands, walk your right leg back behind you, make more space for your hips, roll your shoulder blades back, and look forward. And then on an inhale, we sweep our arms up and overhead. And on an exhale, we sweep the arms back around, interlace the fingers, draw the shoulders away from the ears. Maybe take the back bend here, look up towards the sky. Open through the chest. Notice how much easier the breath is flowing. Notice how you've opened up your body and your mind to the possibilities. The possibility of love, of trust, of serenity. And gently release, look forward, sweep the arms back up and overhead. We'll take our twist. Left hand comes to rest to the right leg. Right hand rests towards the center of the chest in prayer. Look over to the left. Notice what you notice here. It is an intense pose, but know that you can do it. Have trust in yourself. Inhale and exhale. Gently release, sweep the arms back up and overhead. Lovely, plant the hands down onto the mat. We'll shift our hips back, back out of the pose. We're just going to sweep our legs over towards one side so we can come back to sitting. So you want to bring our legs out in front of us, staying with the heels pressed onto the mat, taking hold of behind the knees, just to get yourself set up. And we're going to bring our hands back behind us. Roll your shoulder blades back so your fingers are pointing towards your toes. Begin to open through the chest as you press your heart space forward. If it's okay in your neck, you could begin to drop the head back and look towards the sky. On an exhale, begin to round the body, rounding the spine, and drop the gaze. Inhale, arch to the spine, looking up towards the sky. Exhale, rounding, drop the gaze. Inhale, opening up. Begin to move with your own breath. This should feel a lot more open than we did at the start of the class. Just noticing how the spine feels. Noticing if you feel a little bit more relaxed. We're going to plant our feet down onto the mat. drop our knees over to the left. As we take a twist, we'll look over the right shoulder. We have done quite a bit of work on our lower back, so we just want to make sure we've no stress and no tension. So soften the muscles and release and let go. Inhale back through center, take our twist over the opposite way, drop the knees to the right, twist and look over the left shoulder. Just soften where you can. Notice if you're holding any tension anywhere. Bring the knees back to center. Once again over the opposite side, drop the knees to the left, look over to the right. And bring the knees back to center, dropping over to the right. Look over the left shoulder. Soften the forehead, space between the eyebrows. Back through center. And from here, bringing the feet, planting them on the mat, keeping them hip width distance apart. We're just going to begin to wrap our upper body over our legs. Just allowing the body to hang heavy. Drop the shoulders. Release the arms. Release the lower back. Send the breath down towards the lower back. And release tension with an exhale. And gently we'll come back out. Coming into Baddha Konasana, we'll bring the soles of our feet to touch. And we'll drop the knees heavy. And we don't want the feet too close to the body, trying to keep them a good bit away. And then we're going to begin to hinge forward from the hips. Lead with your chest, lead with the heart center. So we're not rounding through the spine, but we're lengthening. We're creating even more space through the upper body. Look towards your toes. And we can release the arms down. Allow the palms to face up towards the sky. Allow the head to drop heavy. Completely surrender into this pose. Relax every part of your body. Allow the feelings and emotions wash over you. Accept where we are. We'll gently unwind out of our pose, plant your hands and look forward. Slowly come back up to sitting nice and tall. From here, we're going to come back to where we started. Crossing at the ankles, drop the knees heavy. Begin to rest your right hand towards your heart center and place your left on top. Drop your shoulders. Close your eyes or bring a soft gaze and bring yourself back inwards. Notice the love that you've created for yourself, for your family, for your friends, for whoever it is that surrounds you. Notice how that makes you feel. Allow that feeling to consume you. Accept where you are right now. Taking one deep inhale and exhale. We'll bring our hands into prayer. And this is where I'll leave you today. Thank you very much for joining me for our practice. I look forward to seeing you again very soon. Namaste.